Hello. Think we are live. Hello. It's me, Bree, again, your host. Welcome to the Constance Show. It's another week. Today is National, I might butcher this word, Anisine Day, which is typically farmed from the anisine herb, an EC herb. If anyone knows the true answer, feel free to put it in the comments section, but it tastes like licorice. So without further ado, we will get started on our show today. We're going to have, it's a little bit themed if you guys didn't know. It's going to be 4th of July themed. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Independence Day. Happy 4th of July weekend. We're going to be playing trivia first, and then we will transition to our guest segment. I have a very special guest today, so excited about that. And then we will play a new game today as our second game, which will be in the tune of the game, more or less, from The Price is Right. So I'm super excited to get started. So let's welcome our guests today. We have Morgan, Hank, and Alyssa. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Hello.
Hope everyone's having a good day so far. The multiple choice is pretty simple. We'll call on one contestant at a time. So we will go in order of, let's go alphabetical order. So we'll have Alyssa first, and then we'll have Hank, and then Morgan. So if Alyssa answers the question correctly, she'll get a point, and then Hank will get a new question. But however, if Alyssa doesn't answer correctly, then Hank has an opportunity to steal the points. Any questions?
Nope.
Awesome. Nope. So without further ado, we will move on to question number 1. Who was the main author of the Declaration of Independence? Was it George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, or James Madison? Except these might be tough ones. You have to really put your thinking caps on. So again, who is Alyssa?
I'm going to say Thomas Jefferson, but it's been a while.
Wow, I like that you have guessed correctly. I have a mouthful today. It is Thomas Jefferson. Your brain didn't fail you. So a point goes to Alyssa. We'll move on to Hank for question number 2. Hi, Hank. Welcome to the show. So your question is, who was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence? Was it John Hancock, Samuel Adams, John Adams, or John Jay? Lots of Johns.
I'm not sure. I think it's John Hancock.
Well, I like your guess too, because you're correct. Another point for Hank. We are just steamrolling through these so far.
The pressure's on.
I was about to say the pressure's on for Morgan here. A little fun fact, though, before we move on to question number 3, Thomas Jefferson, John Hancock was actually the first to sign it. That's correct, but there weren't as many people in the room as people thought when he was signing it. There's a famous painting by John Trumbull, if you guys know, where they're all crowded around the Declaration of Independence, and everyone you could see him signing it. There's actually only one other person in the room, so it's a little interesting. A little tidbit of history for you. So we'll move on to question 3. Which newspaper company was the first to print the Declaration in 1776? This is a toughie. Was it the Boston Gazette, the Pennsylvania Evening Post, the Pennsylvania Journal, or the New York Journal? Lots of Pennsylvania options here.
I'm going to go with not Pennsylvania, just because there's 2 of them. I have no idea. I'm going to say the Boston Gazette.
Ah, drats. Sorry, Morgan. That is incorrect. So we will have Alyssa. Maybe she can come and steal the points on question number 3. I'll read it to you again. Which newspaper company was the first to print the Declaration in 1776? Was it the Boston Gazette, the Pennsylvania Evening Post, or the Pennsylvania Journal, or the New York Journal?
I'm going to say the New York Journal.
Close. Okay. That is also incorrect, though. Let's see if Hank can come in and save the day. So we cross 2 options off. Let's see.
Come on, Hank.
Like I said, which newspaper was it? Boston Gazette, Pennsylvania Evening Post, the Pennsylvania Journal, or the New York Journal?
I'm saying the Pennsylvania Journal.
No. That is also incorrect. It was the Pennsylvania Evening Post. No points. That's kind of exciting. Ooh.
That makes me feel better. I'm not the only one.
That one was tough, I would say. A little fun fact about the Pennsylvania Evening Post: it was actually the first daily newspaper in the United States. So this is kind of the founding father of our newspapers, and that's something. And it's here in Pennsylvania. How great! So that's the end of round one. If you're just now joining us for the show, welcome. I'm your host, Bree, and right now we are playing a quick game of trivia. After that, we will be traveling to our 4th of July cookout, playing a game in the tune of More or Less from The Price is Right. So I'm super excited about that. And so let's take a look at the score. I think Alyssa has 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Does she?
I think I only have one.
Well, that's from last week. Whoopsies.
Yeah, I think I'm the loser with 0. I think Hank and I are tied at 1, maybe.
At 1. Okay. So now let's see if we can untie it, huh? So we will go back to Alyssa. Correct? Yes. Hank? Where do we start?
I think it was Alyssa first.
It was Alyssa first. Okay, so we will go to you, Hank, for question number 4. This one's a fun one. How many times does the Liberty Bell ring every Independence Day? Is it 50 times, 10 times, 13 times, or 15 times? I think you have a slight advantage to this one living in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. 13 times.
You're right. It is indeed 13 times. It rings 13 times to honor the original 13 colonies, and it takes place in Philadelphia. That's where the Liberty Bell is. You can go and take a peek at it at some point if you haven't. All right, so we'll go to question number 5 with Morgan. Let's see if we can get some points.
Yeah, let's see.
So for question number 5, where was the first 4th of July fireworks show held? Was it in New York, Boston, maybe Charleston, or perhaps Philadelphia?
Oh my god. All right. Well, I had no idea before, and I struck out with Boston, so still no idea. Maybe I'll strike out with Boston again, but we're going to go with Boston.
Boston again. She is holding tried and true, but that is incorrect.
Wrong.
All right, Alyssa, let's see. Where was the first 4th of July fireworks show held?
Charleston?
Charleston? Okay, that's a good guess. Let's see.
Dang
Nope. Close.
Come on, Hank.
Hank, it's you again. Can you steal the points? Where was the first 4th of July fireworks show held?
New York.
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually Philadelphia in 1777. And they were predominantly just orange back in the day. Our modern day fireworks that we know and love today didn't come into fruition until about 60 years later. And they are created by using various different metals to create the different colors in the sky.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Morgan for question number 6. See if she can get another point up there.
Is it Alyssa? I just
Where's
had
Alyssa?
Yeah.
I'm out. I am just, my brain is fried. I'm ready for the weekend, clearly. All right. Sorry about that, Alyssa. You will get question number 6. So which year did the 4th of July become recognized as a federal holiday? Now, this might be surprising to some people.
I'm going to go with 1870.
1870? I think you're a good guesser because that's correct.
Oh my gosh.
You got it right away. I didn't even have to read the options. That's awesome. But yeah, in 1941, it actually became a paid holiday for federal workers. So that's something to look forward to. So we will take a look at the scoreboard once again, since that is the end of our trivia section. I think Alyssa may actually be in the lead. But we still have plenty of time to get the score caught up. We still have a guest segment where we will play a guess game. We're all guessing which presidents the clues are about. Let's see if we can get it. And then after that, we will be going to our 4th of July picnic. So looks like Alyssa 2, Hank 2, Morgan 0. So we're actually still tied up. All right. So before we move into our guest segment, we do have a audience guest question. If you guys happen to know the answer, feel free to put it in the comments section. So our audience trivia question for this week is, which two U.S. presidents died on July 4th in the same year? Isn't that interesting? So 2 U.S. presidents died on July 4th in the same year. If you happen to know, feel free to answer. And if you don't know, well, then we'll find out at the end who those 2 presidents were. So like I said, we will move on to our guest segment. And I believe Miss Morgan Reese is our guest today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. So I wanted to introduce Morgan today. She is actually our very own co-founder here at Constance. So I wanted to highlight that aspect and kind of ask her, what really sparked the idea of Constance? What really made her want to join and, pioneer, so to speak, Constance?
Yeah, so Constance started a little bit over 2 years ago, and I was actually one of the original interns, and we were just a research idea, talking to families and trying to figure out what was missing for them in their caregiving experiences. And so we did lots of research and talked to lots of families and learned that they just really want to know how their loved ones are doing. And that's kind of how Constance was born. And so here we are just over 2 years later, and we are checking in on people and making a difference, and it's really awesome.
That's right. That is awesome. So we're just about 2 years old. We're coming up on our birthday. How exciting. So thank you so much. Is there anything that else you would want to say to the audience? Any shout outs or anything?
I will say hi to Jane, who I think is watching, our awesome social worker who lives in Philly. She was just with me in the office today. So yay. Jane, if you'd like to think of me and maybe send me some answers, because I have a cold goose egg, so not good at trivia.
That's right. Jane needs to send over some of her brain power.
Yeah. Come on, telepathy. Let's go.
And she's always teaching us the big words in the office. So without further ado, thank you again so much for speaking about Constance Morgan. We will move on to our guest game today, which is Who Am I? President Edition. Ooh. So how this works is I'll give you 3 clues one at a time. 2 presidents you have to guess, and you have a chance to guess after each clue which president you think it is. So people, if you're watching at home, feel free to also participate if you happen to know which presidents we're talking about. So we will move on to our first clue for the first president. Ooh, I was born on May 29th of 1917 in a place called Brookline, Massachusetts. So it gives you a little rough estimate about their age at least. Yes, put your thinking caps on today, folks.
Okay.
So we'll move on to clue number 2. Maybe this will give you a little bit more context. I received a Purple Heart on August 22nd, 1943. I'm also just a little more of a clue for you. I'm actually, I think, the only president who has received a Purple Heart in all of history. So,
wow. Okay, this is gonna make me feel real bad about not getting it. Let's see the last one.
And then the last clue is, I think, pretty funny. I got into a fender bender with Larry King while I was a senator in 1958. Larry King actually bumped into me. And I was very kind of upset and persuaded him to vote for me in the upcoming election.
All right. Well, I am going to guess President Eisenhower.
President Eisenhower. Ooh, that's a bold claim. Sadly, not true.
I'm not surprised.
I like the effort. It was actually JFK. It looks like Steve actually had it correct in the comment sections. It's awesome.
Nice job, Steve.
But don't worry, you still have a chance. There's another one.
All right, help me out with this next one.
So for this one, clue number 1 for the next president is, I was born on January 9th in 1913, a little bit older, in a place called Yorba Linda in California. Yeah, these ones just laying the foundation. And then for clue number 2, I graduated 2nd in class from Whittier College. I think I butchered that. And 3rd in class from Duke University School of Law. So we are a pretty well-educated president, if I must say so myself.
Huh. Okay.
Okay. And then for our third clue, I think this one will really get it kind of going for you. I said the infamous line, "I am not a crook," in 1973.
Okay. I'm going to have to go with definitely President Nixon.
Nixon, you are correct. Woo! It was Richard Nixon. I figured that one might give it away.
Woo!
So Morgan got a point. She's up on the points. So scoreboard.
Oh my gosh, goodness.
So that was our little guest segment. So I'll welcome back all of our lovely contestants for game number 2, which I said is more or less. Not sure if you guys are familiar with The Price is Right, but we are time traveling back to the early 70s to a ShopRite to pick up a few things for our 4th of July cookout. Like I said, this game will be played to the tune of more or less on The Price is Right. A price will be shown for a common grocery item, and you must guess whether you think the item is more or less than the price shown. Pretty simple. Each person will get to guess for each item. If you are correct, you will get a point, and whoever guesses the most wins. So, any questions before we move on?
Are you also supplying lunch? Because I'm hungry now.
I know this might make you guys a little bit hungry. Hopefully you guys have some nice 4th of July social distancing cookout plans for this weekend. So we'll move on to our first item. Huge sale, 76 cents a bottle. We'll start with Alyssa since she is our first contestant. Do you think it was more or less back then?
I'm going to say less.
Less, okay. And then Hank, any ideas? Any guesses?
I'm gonna say more.
More, okay. And then Morgan.
I think I'm going to go less.
Less. Well, those who said less, you are correct. It's actually 19 cents per bottle back then in the 70s on average. So you could pick up some Heinz ketchup for pretty cheap back then. I know. So we'll move on to our second item, which are hamburgers for a 1 pound pack. $2.50 per pound. Do you guys think it's more or less? How about you, Alyssa?
I'm going to stick with less.
Less? Okay. Hank?
I'm also gonna go with less.
Less? All right. Morgan?
I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to say more.
Ooh, we're getting brave. Well, those who guessed less, you're correct. Surprisingly, it was only $1.09 per pound back in the day. So that's pretty cheap compared to recent prices. I don't know if you guys have been grocery shopping recently, but the prices of meat have definitely been a little bit more expensive in COVID times. So we will move on to our last one here. We can't, with hamburgers, you got to have ketchup and buns, right? So 35 cents per pack of hamburger buns. You guys think it's more or less? Melissa?
More.
More? Okay. Hank, any guesses?
Less.
Less? Okay. And Morgan.
How many are in the pack?
You're getting down to the nitty gritty. I think usually it's about 8 in the pack. So
Okay. I'm going to go with less.
Less, okay. If you did some quick math in your head, it's actually 49 cents per pack. So Hank got it right with it being more.
Nice, Hank.
So I believe Alyssa and Hank, you got it both right. I wasn't keeping track. Oops. So I think Alyssa had 1, and you had the second one right. Hank had 2 right, and Morgan, you had 1 right, correct?
Barely. Maybe.
I should have prepared.
I am absolutely in third place.
Morgan has taken the place of third place. I do believe if we throw up the points there, Alyssa and Hank are tied. Oh my gosh, with 4.
Tiebreaker.
We have a tiebreaker. So without further ado, we have one more grocery item that we can't, you can't forget the hot dogs on the 4th of July, right? So I didn't prepare a slide for this one, but I'm going to say it's 69 cents a pack. Do you guys think it's more or less for 12 hot dogs?
I think it's more.
More?
I also think it's more.
More? Well, you guys are actually right. So we still have a tie. 70 cents.
70 cents.
70 cents.
Oh my gosh.
So I will do another quick one for you.
Make it hard.
Make it hard. I wasn't prepared for another tiebreaker, I must say. I don't know about you guys, but is anyone else getting hungry from this? All right. So, what else can we bring to our cookout? How about a 12-pack of Coca-Cola?
Mm.
And we'll go with $1.15. More or less?
Less.
Less? Okay.
I'm gonna say more.
More?
We're gonna have a winner.
We're going to have a winner. And guess who it's Alyssa. Alyssa will be our winner today because it was actually less. It was also 69 cents for a 12-pack of Coca-Cola back then. So, I'm just well, that was it. So Alyssa is our winner today. Thank you guys so much. We'll give a little round of applause for our 4th of July themed show. Sorry for the little brain farts there. but I also want to thank our guests so much for participating today. Hope you guys learned a thing or two about some of the presidents, huh?
Yep.
Yes, I did.
And then real quick, we'll take a look at our audience-only trivia question. Let's see who got it correct. I believe we'll take a little peek at it again. So which two U.S. presidents passed away on the 4th of July in the same year? What a coinkydink. And I believe Jane had it correct. It was John Adams and Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, Jane.
Yeah. Jane is just on fire today. She had all the presidents. She had Nixon, JFK. She is definitely a history buff, it feels like. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We will have another lovely show planned for next week. So if you guys want to tune in, you can join us again on Wednesdays at 3. And then we also have a show at Tuesdays at 2. So hope to see you guys there. And of course, have a safe and happy 4th of July. Thanks, everybody.